Hi, Meggiwjns. This week I couldn't find a video that kind of fit what I wanted to share with you. Um, so I am just going to record my own video. And this week I want to share with you some of the ideas about mechanisms. Um, and why do we need to learn about mechanisms? Well, when we have some sort of an object on the playing field that we need to work with, we need to get our robots to do some sort of motion, and mechanisms are all about motion. So you can see this mechanism here. Well, this is a mechanism. This is a type of mechanism sometimes you call a four-link mechanism. You have link 1, 2, 3, 4, and four-link mechanisms are really useful. And if you had a motor hooked to, say, this axle right here, you could cause this thing to go up and down. And so that's just one way that you can take mechanisms and turn them into useful machines and machinery. So anyway, so I went out and found some examples of mechanisms, and I'm going to share those now if I can figure out my video capture software. Okay, so I went to Menards and I found some awesome mechanisms there. This is you guys have probably seen this sitting out front. This is a little buggy they've got, and here's a mechanism. They have a four-link mechanism. This is actually the fourth link is actually a sliding link, or the third link is a sliding link. So I guess it's a two-link with a sliding link mechanism. And this mechanism keeps the wheel in its proper position. So instead of and so it will go up and down whenever it goes over bumps. And this has a shock absorber as part of the mechanism to absorb that. But you imagine it takes a little bit of thought to figure out where to put this. This would be a pin. In this case it's a bolt, but in a mechanism you have pins, and you have links, and you have sliding joints, and it takes a bit of thought to put these all in the right place. Okay, here's another mechanism. Got the front door, and the door slides back and forth on a track with some wheels, etc. That's an example of a slider mechanism. Here's a forklift I found, and the guy's moving this part here is called the carriage, and it goes up and down. Hydraulics push it up and down, and then it's used to stack pallets of landscaping blocks. In this case, I used to work on these Heister forklifts long ago. Another picture of the forklift. Okay, have you seen these doors on the side of Menards? This is a mechanism. So it's got this moving link and this moving link, and it goes up and down, and that causes the doors to open and close. You look a little closer, it has these little wheels that go up and down on this frame. That's called a cam, when you have a wheel as part of a mechanism that controls the movement. And then on the inside you've got these motors and these cables. This is like a winch that when the motor turns, it pulls on the cable, and it pulls this part of the door upwards and causes it to move in this sort of bifold fashion. So here's a lawnmower I saw there, and I thought it was pretty neat how the steering mechanism worked on this. And it might be kind of hard to see. Hold on. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit, and you can see that there's this linkage here. When this bar goes in and out, it turns this crank, and then that crank turns this rod, and that causes the wheel to turn left and right. Okay, so I went over to, I found a grill, and where's the mechanism on this? Well, you see this little tray here? That's called the warming tray. And I found when I open the lid to the grill, that warming tray moves up and down. But if you set the buns on top of the warming tray, they don't tip over and spill. This tray just moves up and stays parallel with the grates down below, so everything stays on it. I got some funny looks from the guy while I was taking pictures of this bifold door, but yeah, basically this thing just slides in its slot and it opens and shuts. And then there's the screen door. The screen door has a sliding member here, and that helps control and keep it from closing too quickly. And it also ensures that it closes back up again when you're done with it. The ladder has a mechanism, and so you have, as these two parts swing open, you have these links, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they work together with these pin joints to open up. And then this little step ladder had a pretty neat one. So see, you got to keep, when you open this thing up, you certainly want these 3 steps to stay parallel. And so when you open it up all the way, this mechanism of multiple linkages keeps everything parallel when it's all opened up. Had some fun with the trash can there. Hold on a second, see if I can. Okay, so here's the trash can. You guys have probably used one of these before. You step on it and voila, the thing opens up. Well, there's a 4-link mechanism in there, making sure that that happens just right. Oh, what is this that I found here? Thankfully an unused water closet, as it is called by some. And there's a mechanism in there. Wouldn't you know it? When you push down on the lever, that arm comes up and the flapper opens. And we're glad it does. When it doesn't, it's usually a problem. Okay, so remember, you get kid brothers and sisters or pets at home, you have this gate, and there's this mechanism right on here, and the way it's designed, you can get really big forces that squish the little rubber ends of this thing to make sure that that gate stays in place. And that is another example of a mechanism. And then here's a mechanism, a little multi-tool. So when you squeeze here, the way it's set up, you remember levers and everything, you get really, really high forces right there. So that mechanism is very useful for cutting stuff. Here's a mechanism on a tool chest, so when the lid, this keeps the lid controlled as it closes. And so you got a 4-link mechanism, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this is kind of like vice grips if you've ever used those. So you squeeze here and the mechanism works together to apply a really high clamping force down there. Here's a mechanism underneath a table saw, so it can convert from a stand to when this thing flips up, it's on a nice little cart. Anyway, that's all I had for pictures from. Okay, and then mechanisms are really, really useful. So you see my little Caterpillar hydraulic excavator here. You've got a mechanism here with 1, 2, 3 links with and 1 link is a sliding link. And then I pointed out the mechanisms in this. I gotta move my cowboy hat out of the way. Pointed out the mechanisms in this guy earlier. And So I was playing around a little bit. Oh, I gotta turn the cowboy hat off. Hold on. There, that's better, right? Okay. So I was I just played around a little bit, and I took 4 links and then put them together with I think we call these toilet plungers, and so with these 4 links I've made a mechanism, and it does a bunch of goofy motions. But you know, when we need to flip down a lever, or we need to have something go out and lift or whatever, we're going to need a little bit of, we're going to play around with some mechanisms. And this is just one that I built. And as we go from, mechanisms to machinery, you can take this and you can find a way to use a motor to actuate that mechanism. But it all starts with the mechanism. So what I'd like you all to do is go out and look for mechanisms in different places. Basically any mechanical thing that moves, there's probably a mechanism there. And see if you can identify, the links or the pins or the gears or whatever, and see if you can understand that mechanism a little bit more. So that's part one. And then if you want to take a picture, if you have if that works out for you, you take a picture, print it out, bring it in, we can talk about it. Or you can, sometimes it's useful just to draw a side view, and by a side view I mean you take a view, if you took a picture, if you drew it like this, you really can't see the mechanism that way. But if you draw it like this, you can kind of see, okay, well, there's a pin here and here and here and here, and there's a link here and here and here and here. And if you draw a side view, then you can kind of get an idea of how the whole thing moves. And then if you have time and can do this, find some Connects or some Legos or some pieces of paper and some string, or however you want to build it, and build a mechanism, and then bring it for our next meeting. And our next meeting is on Wednesday. It's not on Monday. We're not meeting Monday. There's school drop off. We'll probably see most of you at school. Have fun meeting your teachers. But bring your mechanism on Wednesday and we can talk about it. And then during our meeting Wednesday, we're going to build some more mechanisms like this. And whoever can build the one with the goofiest, weirdest motion, well, they'll get a big round of applause from me. So that's what I'm looking for, is the funniest, goofiest motion out of a mechanism. So, all right, thanks for the video. I hope it worked out well for you to learn this way. And if there are any questions, please bring them to a meeting or have your folks call me. Thanks.